I'm Sienna Morales, 27 years old, the overlooked dreamer who turned a tiny kitchen in Charleston, South Carolina into a spice empire, a journey sparked by grit, late-night flavor experiments under the hum of a flickering kitchen light, and a fire that refused to dim despite the towering expectations of my family that loomed like a storm cloud over my every move. Growing up in a historic district where the Grand Plantation homes stood tall with their white columns piercing the sky and the air carried the rich, sweet scent of magnolias drifting from manicured gardens, my parents, Papa Miguel Morales, a stern real estate mogul whose tailored suits masked a heart of iron, and Mama Sophia Morales, a society matron whose galas were the talk of the town, built their identity around wealth and prestige, their 2500 square F-oot mansion, a stage where every chandelier gleam reinforced their legacy of status. I was the middle child, always outshone by my brother, Javier Morales, a finance whiz with a mind for numbers and a future at Wharton, and my sister, Elena Morales, a poised medical resident destined for the operating room at Johns Hopkins. Their successes, a constant mirror held up to my perceived failures that reflected nothing but disappointment in their eyes. Our home was a gallery of perfection. My room, a cluttered nook where recipe journals spilled over instead of medical texts or balance sheets. My love for spices and the clatter of pots dismissed as a childish distraction. My voice too bold, my dreams of flavor, innovation too wild for their polished, orderly world. At 18, that tension brewed into a simmering resentment when my sketches of fusion dishes and late-night cooking sessions were ridiculed, Papa's stern gaze and Mama's society smile cutting deeper than any knife, labeling my passion a phase unfit for a Morales. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, drop your city below and smash that subscribe button. This revenge story with PA Revenge Stories is about to sizzle with a heat they'll never extinguish. Little did I know, my path would collide head-on with a family whose wealth and judgment would test my spirit to its core, setting the stage for a spiced comeback that would leave them choking on their own disdain. My early days were a grind that forged my resilience into a blade sharp enough to cut through their expectations, a testament to the hustle that defined me long before the spotlight dared to shine my way. Those teenage years were a relentless hustle, experimenting with spices in the kitchen after school, my hands stained with paprika and cumin, my savings. A modest $25 jar stashed under my bed in a house where every dollar was meticulously tracked by Papa's ledger, my fingers trembling with each secret blend. His real estate acumen, teaching me to negotiate value, and Mama's hosting finesse, instilling an eye for presentation, became my foundation, shaping a skill to blend flavors and craft dishes that set me apart in a family obsessed with corporate ladders and medical degrees. My best friend, Keisha Jackson, a barista with a flair for flavor pairing who poured coffee at a local cafe, was my cheerleader, her encouragement, a lifeline as I tested recipes in the dead of night. "You've got a gift, Sienna," she'd say, suggesting chili blends to pitch to Dallas. Her taste tests a boost when peers mocked my thrift store chef coats and teachers pushed me toward business school with raised eyebrows. High school brought its battles, classmates snickering at my patched aprons, guidance counselors steering me towards safe office jobs, but Keisha's faith kept me steady, her story spinning my blends into local buzz. After graduation, college was a path I couldn't afford, the tuition a mountain Papa deemed non-negotiable, his voice booming that Moraleses don't falter. So I dove into the real world, waitressing at a seafood shack for $8 an hour, honing my skills with every shrimp boil, my dreams simmering beneath their disapproval like a pot left too long on the stove. At 19, I took a leap of faith, launching Morales' mixes from our kitchen, a 400 square F-oot space alive with the clatter of mortar and pestle, the air thick with the aroma of roasting spices, starting with hand-blended seasonings sold at farmers markets under a tent that swayed in the Charleston breeze. The first year was brutal rejections from gourmet shops who favored mass production, slow sales that barely covered a pinch of saffron, and nights crashing on a cot amidst jars and pots. The kitchen, my fortress of dreams where I'd sketch recipes by candlelight. Keisha's marketing savvy, posting my blends on Instagram with mouth-watering captions, and Papa's grudging loan of a blender more to silence my nagging, then support turned the tide, each $40 sail a step toward legitimacy, my hands steadying with each order. The breakthrough came at a Charleston food festival where a caterer, impressed by my smoked paprika blend, ordered 150 jars, sparking a ripple of interest that rippled through the region. By 22, I had 6 employees hustling in a 1,500 square foot kitchen, its walls lined with spice racks and the hum of creativity, clients across South Carolina praising my bold, artisanal flavors. Keisha joined full-time, her flavor pairings like a cinnamon cardamom mix boosting my appeal, while Papa's financial tips, though reluctantly given, steadied my books with a ledger's precision. Then, at a regional food expo in Atlanta, I met Luca Rossi, a 31-year-old vineyard manager with a warm smile and a palate that savored my blends, his questions about my spice process igniting a spark that felt like a fresh breeze. We bonded over dinner at a local bistro, his support for my craft a rare gift in a world that often dismissed it. And soon we were dating. His family, the Rossis, old money textile magnates with a 30,000 square foot estate in Raleigh looming on the horizon like a storm cloud. Luca proposed with a vintage emerald ring, its green depth catching the light like a promise, and I said yes, my heart swelling with dreams of a future together, unaware that their wealth and judgment would soon clash with my self-made path in a way that would fuel a revenge to redefine my legacy. The Rossi world, filled with textile galas and influence, was uncharted territory, but I stepped into it with hope, ready to prove my worth with every spice blend little, knowing it would ignite a retribution that would leave them reeling in the heat of my success. The spark with Luca Rossi ignited like a flame catching dry kindling at the Atlanta Food Expo, the air thick with the aroma of sizzling spices and the buzz of eager foodies, a stark contrast to the quiet struggles of my Charleston kitchen where Morales' Mixes was born. After our first dinner at a cozy bistro, his warm smile and keen questions about my spice blends probing the balance of smoked paprika and cayenne drew me in, his vineyard manager's palate appreciating the depth I'd crafted, our dates blossomed into late-night talks at my 1,500 square foot kitchen, where he'd taste test my latest blends while I ground fresh turmeric, his landscape sketches inspiring earthy flavor profiles. My best friend, Keisha Jackson, a barista turned full-time marketer, was my rock. Her flavor pairing suggestions like a nutmeg ginger mix boosting my brand, and her warnings a shield. Watch his family, CNA. They'll judge your roots, she'd say, over coffee, her own battles with her mother-in-law fresh in her mind. When Luca proposed with a vintage emerald ring, its green depth the promise of forever, I said yes, my heart swelling with dreams, unaware the Rossi family textile magnates with a 30,000 square foot Raleigh estate would soon test that love with a judgment I hadn't braced for. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, drop your city below and smash that subscribe button. This revenge story with PA Revenge Stories is about to spice up. Our bond grew with a rhythm that felt like a well-seasoned dish, a dance of mutual respect amid my hectic work days. Luca would drop by the kitchen, his architect's eye admiring the hand-labeled jars, often bringing vineyard sketches that sparked ideas for spice-infused oils. Our evenings, a blend of work and love at my 900 square foot apartment above the garage. Keisha joined us sometimes, her marketing posts on Instagram driving sales with vivid descriptions, her support a buffer as I navigated Luca's world. His family will size you up, be ready, she warned, her own family tales of snobbery echoing mine. The Rossi family loomed large, their textile wealth, a shadow cast by Raleigh's historic mansions. And when Luca first mentioned them, his father, Antonio Rossi, a stern textile baron, and his mother, Francesca Rossi, a socialite with a flair for Galashi's tone, was cautious. Dad's old school, Mom's particular, but they'll come around, he'd say with a shrug, a subtle hint I brushed off, trusting his love. But the first meeting loomed, and I prepared with hope, unaware it would ignite a tension that would test my spice and my soul. The initial encounter with the Rosses was a trial by fire, a clash of worlds that left me reeling with a bitterness no spice could mask. Luca drove us to their 30,000 square food estate, its marble floors and crystal chandeliers, a stark contrast to my kitchen roots, the sprawling grounds, a testament to their textile fortune. I wore my besta hand-stitched dress from thrift fabric, infused with my own spice-dyed thread shopping to bridge the gap. Antonio greeted with a firm handshake, his gray hair and broad shoulders exuding authority. Welcome, Sienna. Luca speaks of your blends, his tone gruff but measured. Francesca, however, emerged with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, her designer gown a fortress of elegance. So, you're the spice girl Luca's smitten with, she said, her voice smooth but edged, her gaze sweeping me from head to toe. What do your parents do? I straightened, proud. My dad's a real estate mogul. My mom's a society hostess. They taught me presentation. Her smile tightened. Charming. No culinary lineage, then? No inheritance? No, I replied. I built Morales' mixes from scratch. Her eyebrow arched. Admirable, but spices are a pastime. Dear not, a dynasty. The dinner unfolded like a battlefield. The 60-foot dining table set with silver and porcelain, a maze of utensils I navigated with Keisha's etiquette tips. Francesca probed, where did you study? Self-taught, mostly online courses and trials, I said, holding my head high. Not college, she pressed, her tone dripping with disdain. The Rossis have attended Duke for generations, Antonio interjected. Skill trumps, degrees your blends are unique. But Francesca cut in. You're holding the soup spoon wrong. Though I wasn't, forcing a switch that flushed my cheeks. The meal became a gauntlet me posture, critiqued. My voice deemed too rustic. My compliment on their estate dismissed as grateful, not refined. When I mentioned Morales' mixes gross 6 employees, 1,500, square, F oot kitchen, Francesca waved it off. Quaint, but fleeting. The tension peaked when she leaned in, wine glass in hand. Let's be frank, Sienna. The Rossi name needs a partner of stature. Are you worthy? Before I could respond, she flung the wine, the red splash hitting my face and dress, a gasp escaping me. That's to cleanse a commoner, she said calmly. Pay $200,000 to the Rossi Trust to marry my son, Luca chuckled. Mom's got her quirks, handing me a napkin while Antonio stayed silent, the room freezing as my dignity hung in the balance, a spice of revenge beginning to simmer in my soul. The bitter sting of Francesca Rossi's wine lingered on my skin as Luca drove us back from their 30,000 square F-oot Raleigh estate. The hum of his car, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me after that humiliating dinner, where her $200,000 dowry demand and Luca's chuckle had shattered my hopes of acceptance. The red stains on my hand-stitched dress felt like a brand of their disdain, a mark of the chasm between my self-made spice world and their textile dynasty, and the pressure was mounting with every mile. Keisha Jackson, my best friend and full-time marketer, called as soon as I got home, her voice a lifeline through my shock. That's savage. Sienna, what did Luca say? I sighed. He laughed, Keisha, called it a family quirk. Her gasp fueled my resolve. He's blind if he defends, that don't let them break you. The Rossi family textile magnates with influence stretching across the Southeast loomed larger, their wealth a shadow I couldn't escape. And that first clash had ignited a tension that would test my flavors and my love. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, Drop your city below and smash that subscribe button. This revenge story with PA Revenge Stories is about to turn up the heat. My journey with Morales' mixes took off despite the family storm, a testament to the hustle Papa and Mama had unknowingly instilled with Luca's support, a fleeting light amid the growing darkness. After that Charleston Food Festival breakthrough, orders flooded in, and by 22, I had 6 employees bustling in our 1,500 square F-oot kitchen, its walls lined with spice racks and the air thick with the aroma of roasting blends, my handcrafted flavors earning praise across South Carolina. Keisha's marketing genius, posting vivid Instagram reels of my spice-making process, drove sales, while Papa's financial tips, though grudgingly given, steadied my books with a ledger's precision. Luca visited often his vineyard palette, savoring my latest mixes, bringing sketches that inspired spice-infused salts. Our dates, a blend of work and love at my 900 square F-oot apartment above the garage. He supported my grind, celebrating each milestone or first $15,000 month, a new client with a grin, his belief, a shield against doubt. But the Rossi shadow crept in. Luca mentioned them cautiously, Antonio as traditional, Francesca as set in her ways, his shrugs a subtle warning. They'll warm up, he'd say, but the wine incident proved otherwise, and I braced for more, my resolve hardening. The pressure escalated as Francesca's disapproval fueled a family fallout. After the dinner, Luca apologized. Mom's protective, she'll adjust, but his laughter haunted me, a crack in his support. Antonio called, his gruff voice offering a tepid, "Your blends are solid, give her time," but it felt empty. Francesca's next move was a demand for the dowry within 30 days, her tone as if it were a business deal, not a personal assault. "Your spices are a fling pay to prove your worth," she said over the phone, her words a slap. Luca echoed her. "It's tradition, Sienna, just pay it." His tone softening but insistent, his loyalty wavering. Keisha visited her marketing plans for a new line, a distraction. "They're using your success to cage you," she warned, her eyes sharp. "Luca's complicit if he won't fight." Her words lingered as I faced a new threat. Francesca scheduled a meeting at Morales' Mixes, arriving with their textile manager and a lawyer, pushing custom spice blends worth $60,000 in unpaid work. "You can manage, given your engagement," she smiled coldly, a veiled threat. I protested, but she brushed it off. "Luca expects his fiancée to deliver." The stakes rose with Francesca's tactics. She called daily, critiquing my staff, hinting at blacklisting my blends with Southern retailers, her influence spreading rumors that hurt sales to clients like Savannah Spice Company, who called questioning stability. Luca's texts grew urgent. Mom's impatient. Pay the dowry, his silence on her actions, a knife in my trust. Keisha's cousin, Tariq, a lawyer, dug into the Rossis, revealing a pattern. Dowries demanded, in-laws, controlled jobs quit, lives dictated. Luca's ex, Nadia, confirmed it, her voice shaky. "I paid $180,000. Then they forced me to sell my boutique." Luca always sided with Francesca. The betrayal stung. Luca's love felt conditional, his support a facade. A tense textile gala loomed, Francesca summoning me to decide, her power play intensifying as Morales' Mix's reputation teetered. Keisha's warning, "They'll crush you if you bend," echoed as I prepared to face them, my heart steeling for a reckoning that would redefine my spices and dignity, a revenge simmering beneath my calm exterior. The hum of my 1,500 square F-oot kitchen in Charleston faded into a distant murmur as I sat among the spice racks, the weight of Francesca Rossi's $200, 000 dowry demand, and Luca's complicit chuckle pressing on me like a heavy lid on a simmering pot, the air thick with the scent of roasting cumin and unresolved tension. The textile gala invitation from Francesca, a summons dripping with expectation, loomed like a storm cloud, her threat to blacklist Morales' Mixes with Southern retailers threatening my 15% revenue lifeline. Keisha Jackson, My best friend and full-time marketer leaned against the counter, her latest campaign sketches forgotten as she listened to my tale of the Rossi family's escalating control. "That's a power play, Sienna. They're exploiting your hustle," she said, her voice sharp with outrage. "Luca's in on it if he won't stand up." Her words ignited a spark, and I nodded, my resolve hardening like a spice crust on a well-seared dish. The Ross's textile magnates with a 30,000 square F-Oot Raleigh estate and influence across the south of Astad underestimated me, thinking my kitchen roots made me weak, but I'd turn their arrogance into my weapon. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, drop your city below and smash that subscribe button. This revenge story with PA Revenge Stories is about to add some heat. The truth unraveled like a tangled blend of herbs, each revelation a layer I needed to master, a web of control the Rossi family had woven for years. Keisha's cousin, Tariq, a lawyer with a nose for family disputes, became my ally, his voice steady over the phone. "I've seen this before, old money, like the Rossis uses dowries to dominate. Let's dig." He connected me with Nadia, Luca's ex-fiancée, whose trembling voice painted a grim picture. I paid $180,000, then they forced me to sell my boutique. Luca always backed Francesca. When I resisted, they tanked my reputation in Raleigh. My stomach churned. Luca's love was a mirage, his silence a pact with his mother. Keisha rallied our kitchen crew, including our spice grinder, Malik, whose quiet diligence uncovered leads. "Check their textile contracts," Malik suggested, his hands steady on a ledger. His research revealed a history sudden terminations after personal fallouts, whispers of labor violations, leverage I could wield. I assigned Malik to dig deeper, his findings a blade in the making, while Keisha crafted a PR strategy to counter Francesca's rumors, reaching out to Asheville artisans for support. The plan took shape with a fierce urgency, a counterstrike forged in the late nights of my kitchen, its wooden counters dusted with spice as my 1,500 square F-Oot space buzzed with determination. Tariq advised, "You've got grounds to break tays, the contract loopholes, and expose their tactics if needed." I met with our accountant, Rosa, her projections a mix of risk and hope. Losing the Rossi account, 15% of revenue will burn. But with new clients, we can recover in 4 months if we pause the Raleigh expansion. The team, led by our manager, Tony, rallied behind me. "We're with you. C&I Blends built this, not their money," Tony said, his support a rock. I contacted rival textile firms, Cotton Crest and Silk Haven, their interest a lifeline as they admired my ethical stance, securing tentative deals. Rose's team pushed outreach, while I rehearsed my confrontation with Francesca, practicing power poses in front of a spice mirror to mask my nerves, the clatter of mortar and pestle a steady beat. The tension spiked with a new threat. Luca's texts grew insistent. "Mom's waiting, pay the dowry," his loyalty to Francesca a dagger in my trust. Then, a call from an unknown number, Antonio's assistant leaking emails. "Push her with the textile deal," Francesca wrote. Luca replying, "I'll convince her." The betrayal cut deep, but it clarified my path. I met Keisha and Malik at a diner, their encouragement stealing me. "They think you're soft-shock them," Keisha said. Malik added, "We've got Dirtuzit." The Rossi estate loomed in my thoughts, their power a shadow, but I had my team, my spices, and a secret edge, the truth. The kitchen's rustic warmth reflected my resolve as I prepared to sever ties, my spiced retribution about to turn their world upside down, a victory born from the embers of their scorn. The air in my 1,500 square F-Oot Charleston kitchen crackled with anticipation as the clock ticked toward 9 a.m. The rhythmic grind of mortar and pestle, a backdrop to the storm brewing within me, fueled by Francesca Rossi's $200,000 dowry demand and Luca's complicit silence. The textile gala invitation, a summons dripping with expectation, loomed like a thunderhead, her threat to blacklist Morales' mixes with Southern retailers, jeopardizing my 15% revenue lifeline. Dressed in a spice-dyed blazer hand crafted with threads of my own creation, I stood among the jars, the wooden counters worn from years of blending, ready to face Francesca on my turf. Keisha Jackson, my best friend and marketer, adjusted my collar, her voice a steady anchor. "You've got this." Sienna Make them choke on their pride. Malik, our spice grinder, nodded, his research on the Ross's shady dealings a weapon in hand, while Tariq, my lawyer cousin, confirmed our legal stance. The Rossi family textile magnates with a 30,000 square FOOT. Raleigh Estate thought my kitchen roots made me weak, but today I'd turn their arrogance into my triumph. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, drop your city below and smash that subscribe button. This revenge story with PA Revenge Stories is about to ignite. Francesca arrived at the kitchen at the appointed hour, her designer gown and pearl necklace a stark contrast to my handcrafted grit, her poise a mask of control as she stepped into my domain. "Sienna, I assume you've reconsidered the dowry," she said, her tone dripping with condescension, expecting submission. I kept my voice calm, a steel edge beneath. "Thank you for coming, Mrs. Rossi, but this isn't about the dowry, it's about ending our business ties." Her smile faltered, a crack in her composure. "That's recklesser account is 15% of your revenue, and Luca's future hangs in the balance." I met her gaze, unflinching. I've weighed every angle. I slid documents across the spice-dusted table emails, meeting notes, the leaked exchange between her and Luca. "Push her with the textile deal," I'll convince her. Her face paled as she skimmed them. "You've demanded $60,000 in unpaid blends, threatened my reputation with Southern retailers, and used our partnership to coerce me." I said, my voice steady, "This isn't business, it's a power grab." Francesca's lips tightened. "You're making a grave mistake." "No," I countered. "The mistake was thinking I'd bow to abuse. I've secured Cotton Crest and Silk Haven bigger deals that value my craft, not leverage." Her composure cracked at her competitors' names, her hands clenching. I handed her the termination notice. Per clause 6.3, your demands breach our contract. This ends now. She stood, her voice rising. "This is absurder. Lawyers will crush you." I placed another folder on the table. My team found labor violations, contract terminations for personal vendettas, and accounting red flags. Fight this, and those stories hit the press show. Will your textile circle react? Her alarm was palpable, but she rallied. "You wouldn't dare expose us." "I'd prefer not to," I said, honest. "End it cleanly. You go your way. I go many or escalate, and we'll see who falls." She gathered her purse, seething. "Luca deserves better." "We agree, but for different reasons," I replied, signaling Tony to escort her out. "One more thing, your $200,000? I'm donating it to a spice apprenticeship fund. Thought you should know." As she left, flanked by Tony, I sank into my chair, adrenaline fading into victory. The fallout was swift. Rossi Textiles issued a vague statement about strategic shifts. Their contract gone, while Raleigh event invites dried up. Luca texted, "You've destroyed us," but I felt unshackled. Antonio called, apologizing gruffly, hinting at distancing from Francesca. Weeks later, he moved out, ripples spreading. Nadia launched her own boutique, defying Francesca. My stand earned a Southern Spice Journal feature, boosting Morales' mixes orders. 6 months later, revenue surged 20% with new clients, the kitchen expanding to 2,000 square feet. At a food fest, Luca's plea, "I've changed," fell flat. I'd escaped a life of control. My speech there rang true. Success is standing tall walk away from those who devalue you. Drop a rise if you've faced family scorn, and subscribe to PA Revenge Stories for more epic turnarounds. The echo of the kitchen door closing behind Francesca Rossi reverberated through my 1,500 square FOOT Charleston space. A final note in the symphony of my triumph that left the air thick with the scent of triumphantly roasted spices and newfound freedom. As I stood among the jars, the spice-dyed blazer still warm against my skin, the weight of her $200,000 dowry demand and Luca's betrayal lifted like steam from a cooling pot, replaced by a peace I'd earned through my spiced rise. The Rossi family textile magnates with their 30,000 square F-oot Raleigh Estid crumbled under the heat of my resolve. Their attempt to control me backfiring into a victory that reshaped my life and legacy. Keisha Jackson, my best friend and marketer, burst in with a victorious hug. "You burned them, Sienna." While Malik, our spice grinder, nodded, his research validated. If you're watching from Charleston, Atlanta, or anywhere across the states, drop a rise below and hit subscribe. This tale of revenge and renewal is a perfect fit for PA revenge stories. The Rossis had ignited a fire, but I'd turned it into a blaze of strength. The aftermath rippled through our lives with a force they couldn't contain. Rossi Textiles issued a curt statement about strategic shifts, their 15% revenue contract severed, while Raleigh Gala invitations evaporated like morning mist. Luca's text, "You've destroyed our family stung, but it was a price for my liberation." Unexpectedly, Antonio Rossi called, his gruff voice laced with regret, apologizing for enabling Francesca. "I let her run wild, sorry, Sienna," he said, hinting at moving out of the estate. Weeks later, industry gossip confirmed it. Antonio had taken a leave, his departure sparking change. Nadia, Luca's ex, launched her boutique anew, breaking from Francesca's grip, while other Rossi in-laws renegotiated their roles, demanding respect. My stand resonated, earning a Southern Spice Journal feature on my ethical blends, boosting Morales' mixes orders by 25%. 6 months later, revenue surged 20%, the kitchen expanding to 2,000 square feet, my 10 employees thriving with new energy. Morales' mixes flourished in the wake. Losing the Rossi account forced diversification, and with Cotton Crest and Silk Haven deals, we recovered in 4 months, pausing the Raleigh expansion but gaining stability. The team, led by Tony, rallied, their late-night grinding sessions a testament to our values, though 2 left wary of risk. My personal life evolved Luca's reconciliation attempts, from texts to a humbled visit, faltered. "I've changed," Sienna Lace talk, he pleaded, but I stood firm. "Prove it to yourself. Not me, your trust is gone," I said, returning his emerald ring, the weight of what if dissolving. Antonio's friendship grew, our coffee chats revealing his regrets. His move to a modest Raleigh condo, a quiet rebellion against Francesca. 9 months later, at a Charleston food fest, I met Omar, a sustainable farmer whose respect for my spices mirrored mine. Our connection was instant, built on mutual admiration. His response to my Rossi story, their loss, my gain, a healing balm. Unlike Luca, he valued me as an equal, our relationship a slow dance of shared dreams. A year after the confrontation, at a Spice Expo, Luca's awkward apology, "You were right," felt hollow. I'd escaped a life of control. Accepting a Flavor Innovation Award, I spoke. "Success is refusing to compromise your worth walk away from those who devalue you." My brand now banned exploitative ties, turning down lucrative deals with strings, my legacy a testament to dignity. Drop a rise if you faced family judgment, and subscribe to PA Revenge Stories for more epic comebacks. Your flavor is yours to season.